Hello there, welcome to my world of stuff. It's Friday afternoon and a bit of a snap decision. I've decided to go to the cinema. I think I mentioned that in the previous video that I was thinking of, there's a couple of films that I want to see, a couple of comedy films. And I like a laugh and I'm in the mood for a bit of a laugh. So I've had a busy old morning in a way. I've been to the gym. I've had a bit of lunch and now I thought I'll nip to the cinema. It is a lovely day today. It's really nice. So I suppose I should be sitting outside catching some rays, but I'm going to go into a dark room, watch a film. But what film? What film? It's a choice of two. The Phantom of the Open, the new comedy film directed by Craig Roberts and starring Mark Rylance and Sally Hawkins, or the Nan movie starring Catherine Tate and Matthew Horn. You will know because the thumbnail gives it away, but I haven't yet decided exactly which one I'm going to see because both start around the same time. And I do want to see both of them. I know the Nan movie is going to be terrible, but I like Catherine Tate. It's co-written by her and Brett Goldstein, who is quite a sharp comic talent. So I think it might not be that bad, but I don't know. Anyway, whichever one I see, there will be a review after this. So as you can see, I went to see Phantom of the Open. Nan movie I will leave for another day. I went to see this film and I have to say that having seen it, I think it is the dictionary definition of a lovely film because it really is. Warms your cockles. It's a feel-good film in the very purest sense of the words. It's the truest story of Maurice Flitcroft, who in the 1970s carried out what in real life was a sort of a hoax or a deception, but in the film is depicted more as an ambition, a dream of somebody who hadn't achieved very much in life, but felt he had a chance to do something in a sport he had no experience of. He worked in Barrow-in-Furness as a crane driver in the Vickers factory yard, and there's talk of redundancy. He's married to Jean, played by the brilliant Sally Hawkins. I must mention, by the way, Mark Rylance, of course, plays Maurice Flitcroft. He's just got an amiable life. His wife's had a child out of wedlock before they met, so they got married. He had two more sons who have ambitions to become champion disco dancers. This is all set in the 70s, remember? And he decides one night, he just happens to come across a golf tournament televised on screen, and something sort of rings a bell in his head, and he decides he quite fancies having a go at that and entering the British Open. By a various sequence of occurrences, he actually gets accepted into the British Open, but he's appalling and he scores the highest score recorded in the British Open's history or something of that nature. I'm not a golf person myself, but he has a ludicrously high score and he becomes not exactly a laughing stock, but a sort of typical British eccentric. He's barred from entering the British Open again because he's not a member of a golf club. He hasn't got the various certificates and so on, but he's determined to carry on, and with the help of one of his workmates, Cliff, played by the reliable Mark Lewis-Jones, he comes up with any number of different aliases. Gerald Hoppy is one that he comes up with, trying to play, portrays a sort of a French golf player, and he gets himself back into the Open again. And there are comic consequences. It's a lovely heartwarming film. It's just 102 minutes of of just warm fun. I mean, it's very amusing. It's not sort of really laugh out loud funny. It's not a hoot a minute sort of thing, but it is wryly funny. It's quite witty, and it is charming. And as I say, I think the word lovely just sums it up completely, because it's just like a big warm hug of a film. The performance is fantastic, of course. Mark Rylance, who was once a sort of a noted Shakespearean theatre actor, has come out of the shadows a lot in the last few years, and he's appearing in a lot of films. And he always plays these slightly weird, eccentric type characters. I'm thinking of the Elon Musk type character he played in Don't Look Up, which was released on Netflix at Christmas time. And again, in Morris, we have a lovable eccentric. I mean, he plays the part with a sort of languid, drawling voice. And he comes across as if he's a little bit sort of backward. He sort of seems a bit slow, but he's just somebody who just ambles through life in an unhurried fashion, quite happy with what he's got, quite happy with his lot, but feeling that he should reach for the stars and should try and do something with his life. And he plays it in such a laid-back fashion. It's just, I keep saying this word lovely, I keep saying this word charming, but he just sums it all up. I mean, you've got Sally Hawkins, who's on top form again, as his wife Jean, supporting. I mean, there's a lot of new faces I haven't seen before. The two kids who play his two disco dancing sons are, I think, brothers in real life, and they're very good. You've got people like Steve Oram, Simon Farnaby, who wrote the script and also co-wrote a book about the real Morris, so it's obviously a bit of a fascination for him. I'd say you've got Mark Lewis-Jones, you've got Rhys Ifans playing this sort of one of the directors of the British Open, who's constantly thwarted by Morris's attempts to get in the championship. It's just really good fun. It's a nice film. It won't change your world. It won't change your life. It won't stay with you for months on end. You won't be thinking about it, but it's quite sweet. There's some nice little poignant moments. Some dark moments, really, when, towards the end of the film, when Morris's fortunes, such as they are, have turned for the worse, and he and his wife find themselves living in straitened circumstances. But there's always that sort of bond of family, which runs quite strongly through the film. Although there are disagreements within the family, his sons are constantly confounded by his strange ambitions, there's always the feeling that at the end of the day, they do love each other and they do support each other, and they will support him whatever he decides to do. It's, in a way, it's a companion piece to, if you remember, Dexter Fletcher's film Eddie the Eagle, which came out a few years ago, which was a similarly themed film about a wannabe sportsman who just hasn't got the skills. And it has that same sort of comic groove, but this is gentler. And it's just a very nice cinema experience. It really is one of those films. I saw it this afternoon, obviously Friday afternoon, and it is very much a Friday afternoon sort of film. The cinema's virtually empty, and it's just nice to sit there and let this, this warm film wash over you, especially at the moment when the world is, as I keep saying, in a bit of a state. It's nice to sort of switch off from that and see something pleasant. Directed very well by Craig Roberts, of course, that we know he's a young actor. In fact, he was born not far away from me, where I'm in Wales, and he's we know him for things like Being Human and Tracy Beaker, and he's appeared in lots of TV things over the years, but he's now moved into directing quite a bit more. He directed a film called Submarine a few years ago, which was quite an unusual coming of age film. But this is his most commercial film yet. It's really sort of targeting that sort of, I suppose, vaguely, very, very vaguely sort of Notting Hill type vibe of a sort of a magical England, although this is sort of steeped in the 70s, that sort of unemployment, and but it's not a social commentary film, but it places itself quite squarely in a specific period of time. It's got a great music soundtrack as well, lots of 70s disco classics and pop classics on the soundtrack. The only point I'd make about it, really, it's obviously quite a low budget film because it doesn't look big. I mean, you've got scenes in the British Open, which I think is quite a big golfing tournament, but the scale of it is quite small. There's only a handful of extras. I think there's a bit of CGI in a couple of places to put extras where there probably weren't extras. So it looks very, very constrained, very, very low budget, I suppose, is the only way you can put it. But it's not to the film's detriment. I mean, it's not a big spectacular film. It's a very nice, pleasant, wryly amusing comedy film, which I think will entertain you for 100 minutes or so. I enjoyed it. It was a good choice. I'm glad I went to see it today rather than Nan the movie, but I will catch up with you, Nan. And it's in cinemas now. It's The Phantom of the Open. It's well worth a look if you want a really nice, relaxing time at the cinema. And I'm going to give it, I think I'm going to give it a nice 8 out of 10 because I did enjoy it. That's The Phantom of the Open in cinemas now. Check it out. Right. Thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, if you enjoyed this review, like and subscribe and leave a comment and join in the fun. I'll see you soon. Until I do, you know what they say. Yep. Keep taking the stuff.